I'm Ryan. This is my brother Daniel, and this is Rolls in the Family. And today we are talking about value in board games. Specifically, how much do we get out of a game compared to how much we paid for it? Mm-hmm. It's a good value equation there. But there's a few different ways we could have gone about this. They could have just said, the number of times we've played it, like the cost per play, which is maybe what we titled this video because it was less clunky than anything else I could have described.
The cost per play.
Let's look at this formula. But then you could do a cost, per hour. So kind of like, because per play kind of doesn't play nicely with these longer games. They kind of get penalized. So you could do cost per hour, so number of plays times average play time. But then I even like taking it a little bit further and doing cost per hour per player, so that you're not penalizing games that really, it's kind of thinking of more like if you were going to go to a movie, for example.
Yeah, how much would you have to pay?
A group of people, you would be paying per ticket.
Right.
So it's kind of like this board gaming experience. What was the per ticket, cost for people to have?
It's good you're explaining this, Ryan, because I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't tell Daniel about any of this. So, we fortunately have a lot of data over the years of tracking plays and stuff. Had to kind of guesstimate at some of this as far as exactly how much we paid for a game, or like what's the average.
Our viewers don't know if we're lying.
Average number of players we play in this game, but it should be sort of close.
Right.
And we're going to count down our 10 that were the lowest cost per hour per player. Got that all?
This is so
You
great.
better have it, because we're now going to ask you to put in the comments.
Yes.
Maybe you don't want to do the whole formula and rank all. You can if you want. Rank all your games. Go through this
Set
whole
aside
process.
an hour. Go calculate.
We love the dedication in our community, but
true.
You otherwise could just make a judgment call of like, what do you feel like is probably your highest value based on like cost versus number of plays. We will include links to all of our games that we talk about. Oftentimes these are games we've played quite a bit because it's the only way they can kind of have a chance on this
Or they're
list.
really cheap.
Which
hey, maybe that's why you should check it out.
Yep. All right, Dingle, let's get into this. We'll start with your number 10. We'll probably have some crossover here, I imagine.
Yeah.
But, it'll be interesting to see.
Potentially, yes. So my number 10 is a game that is a sequel to one that we had earlier. Actually, I guess 2 sequels after. But a little bit of different theme than the first 2. And this is going to go to Lovecraft Letter.
Okay.
So this one, my cost per play per hour, 41 cents.
Nice.
Not too shabby. And I think, one thing that obviously really helps is it's it's not a super expensive game. It can play up to 6 players, I believe. Or so. And man, we've played this one quite a few times. Both of us have it. And I think for me, I've got 29 plays of it logged, and was really just kind of the whole going, insane victory versus sane. Like that just was a little twist on the love letter formula that we both just absolutely loved. The rulebook's terrible, but we'll just set that aside. That doesn't get accounted for in this formula, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Did you add the amount of time that we spent?
And rating of the rulebook.
Well, no, I was gonna say the amount of time that we spend having to look in the rulebook to figure out.
Now, if you have to spend more time to the rulebook, does that help this metric? Because it would be more time.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay, well,
it's complicated.
This is complicated.
And I guess for some context here, we first got Love Letter and played it a lot.
We did, yeah.
Like, I don't know how many games of Love Letter we have logged. It's probably like 50.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Love Letter Premium, which we played a lot as Love Letter. Also realized that like the bigger kind of version of it going up to 8 players was not.
Oh my gosh.
Diego's having PTSD from
my 2.5 hour game of Love Letter Premium is coming back.
We don't speak of that.
We don't.
But I ended up having the opportunity to play Lovecraft Letter with a friend and was like, man, this I really like. For someone who's played Love Letter a lot, it added some really nice twists to add some longevity. Like I feel like I am kind of like done with vanilla love letter. Like
Done.
I've seen
That's a bold
everything.
statement. Wow.
I would play it, but it's not like I feel super compelled to come back to it because I've kind of like tapped out the decision spaces in the game, the types of situations. Whereas Lovecraft Letter adds enough that it still you were seeing new things come up. And I totally agree. Just the like going either direction is very fun. So
there you go.
So yeah, this one could have been higher if it like was counting Love Letter. A lot of Love Letter plays,
and the rulebook.
But alas, number 10. My number 10, if I'm counting here correctly, yes, is a party game. Probably the party game that we like can most easily recommend as like an accessible party game, and this is Just One. And Just One, fairly inexpensive game. I mean, we're talking like $25. We typically are playing it with 6, 7 players, even 8, unlike the box might lead you to believe.
I don't know why they didn't do that.
And so it's not a very long game, so you're not getting tons of hours per play, but the fact that it's pretty cheap and you're playing with so many people, and I've logged at this point, 27 plays of it, has gotten Just One down to a lean 31 cents per hour. Wow,
your list is much more
much more
value.
Dang, God's got to get playing his games. And yeah, so this is one that made sense that this would end up on the list, just given that especially if the cost is low and it's got a higher player count. So like party games like can perform well on this, but they also don't tend to be as long and maybe are hard to get to the table a lot.
Yeah, well, I was going to say some of these on our list are only on this because like we played the heck out of them. I feel like this one is just in general great value. Like check it out.
Yeah, like what did I say? 27 plays? That isn't an absurd number.
That's
of
not
plays.
absurd.
Like maybe some of the other things we talk about. But,
that's right.
But there you go. Just One just made it in. Number 10.
Good pun. My number 9 is a game that definitely benefits from being able to support a higher player count. Is one that I think I will eternally love more than anyone else. And this is going to go.
Statement.
I know. I'm full of bold statements. And this is going to go to 7 Wonders. Now I was a little thrown off, Ryan, because we added up the total cost that we've put into games. I was like, oh my gosh, I've put over like $100 into 7 Wonders.
Yeah, well, that one's it's a little weird because that's one that was originally like in our collection. It's probably I put all that money in, and then you got the game after we moved. So
I've gotten great value.
You've gotten really good value.
My goodness. So 7 Wonders. Fantastic. Card drafting game. It really is kind of the I don't know, staple of that mechanic. And it's a mechanic that I just absolutely love. Simultaneous play, I talk about all the time, love that as well. But coming in also, same thing as Lovecraft Letter with 41 cents per player per hour. I'm not even gonna try to say that every time. but I mean, Ryan, I've played the game 82 times. Like
that's a lot of.
That's a
because this is an example of one that because you have 7 Wonders and then the Leaders expansion and the Cities expansion and there's like the Board Wonder expansion.
Yeah.
So that's what's driving that cost up.
Yeah.
And so you have to. When it's a game with a lot of expansions, you need even more plays and stuff to.
And
to
man, when you just have a full table, like 6, 7 people playing 7 Wonders, it's a blast. It is just an absolute blast. I love it every single time. So it's one that, despite being it's kind of an older game now. It's been out for a while. One that has stayed in the collection and is going to keep driving that value. That's the beautiful thing about board games, Ryan, right? You purchase. That's how I justify every purchase. I say it's just a one-time purchase, and then every time you play infinite value, right? Isn't that how it works? Yeah. There you go.
Exactly. Very nice. My number 9 is my most expensive entry that made the top 10. I've spent $165 roughly on this game, which feels like it shouldn't be able to make it onto this list. But it is a game that I have played a ton. Specifically, there was a season in college there where this just got hammered with plays. And it actually plays with like 5, 6 players. The average is probably 5. This is Cosmic Encounter. And then, it's really on this list because I've played it 189 times. And when you got a game that plays in, I think I've got it at like a 45-minute average with 5 players.
So this may not be an in general good value game. It's
Though
good value once you play it almost 200 times.
Yes, you can make any game good value with it's like the any pizza's a personal pizza with the right attitude, right?
That's right.
That's right. So you can make it happen. But yeah, I mean, this is one, you wouldn't need all the expansions that I have. And I don't even actually have all of them because they've released one since I kind of was in that season. But it was so fun when we were playing it that much and they were releasing the expansions at that point, Fantasy Flight. So we were kind of in step with a new expansion came out. It was like, oh, we were playing it so much that like we would get it and we would immediately like play with all the aliens in the new set. So a lot of fun, and one that has gotten down to 23 cents.
Oh my gosh. Jeez, Ryan.
Dang, so
Ryan's collection is
looking
way
nice
more
here.
value driven than mine.
Yeah.
I'm more of an impulse buyer.
Yeah.
Very nice, Ryan. Yeah, that one that's a great one in terms of how many times you've played it. Coming to my number 8, is a game that is one of the longest games that we both own. And we've played it I think I think we've both played it with someone else at one point or another, but primarily together. And when a game is, this long, and we've played it 21 times, I mean, that's for a game like this, that's actually pretty decent. It's going to have a decent value, and this is going to go to Twilight Struggle.
Yeah.
Man, whenever we talk about this game, I think we always mention that it wasn't like this is one that we thought we were gonna love, really. It was at the top of BGG at the time, and we're like, well, this, let's try it. And I wouldn't say we're really like war gamers, but man, this game just, I think, really grabbed us from the start. At least grabbed you. You were whooping me for
I'm glad it made it. I'm glad that we made it through that initial.
Ryan, this game almost didn't make it. There were a lot of early war losses.
It didn't go to the graveyard.
You can only Ryan, a man 44. Can only take so many early war losses before they just cut a game out. But I pushed through, and now man, gosh, I would love to just. Like, side note, Ryan, we got to get another Twilight Struggle.
We got to
like happen, whether it's online or whatnot, because it is so fun. Just the tension of the game and the arc of it. How you start kind of in this small area and it progresses and progresses. And man, by the late war, you are just managing so many different things. The cards are just incredible. And I'm trying to think of a game. It's funny in some ways. It kind of gives me the same feeling I get with Agricola, with like the hand of cards, except it's doing it like every round of this, like, okay, how in the world am I gonna make this happen?
And sometimes it's like in reverse because it's things that are bad.
Yeah,
for you,
right.
So
and right. And sometimes you get dealt like, oh my gosh, this is bad, except also still good because at least the other person doesn't have it. Like if I'm just stuck with a bunch of your events, this game is just incredible, and I think mechanically is just going to stand the test of time. Like there's,
totally.
it's just so well designed, and one that we both clearly still love playing. So 40 cents.
Nice.
40 cents per.
Yeah, I guess it's interesting in Twilight Struggle. I can't think of many other games that like the other player will take a turn that literally just helps you. Like you can expect that to happen at times in Twilight Struggle. And so you're not like factoring that into your strategy.
I know.
Like, cause you don't know. And so it's like this surprise of like, oh my gosh, on your turn, like something good happened for me.
But you know it's going to happen the other way too. Yeah. It's, man. No, that is really interesting. Yep.
Cool. My number 8 is a classic.
Oh.
Another one that number of plays here is really what drives this up the list. It was a little hard. I based the price on like what I currently have for it. It's one that we used to own together, and there were other things we had for it. But I have spent $90 on Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride and the was it the 1910 expansion and the map expansion. But played Ticket to Ride 149 times at this point. And Ticket to Ride again is, I have the average at like 3.5 players, like, because it kind of ranges anywhere from 2 to 5. But yeah, one that we've talked about this before, of games in this weight. I mean, there's not many other ones that we've played as much, but there's not many other ones I can think of that I feel like I just would never get tired of playing. Like, there's a lot of other ones at this weight that I feel like if I played them enough, I'd be like, okay, I'm kind of itching to play something a little heavier. Like, I just, But something about Ticket to Ride and the way it plays out differently every time, and just the core tensions. I mean, we just love it. I haven't gotten to play it nearly as much in the past few years, though. Once kids get to that point, Ticket to Ride could see a resurgence, I think.
It's true.
But yeah, got it. Also, same as Cosmic Encounter, down to a 23 cents per hour. We have the actual formula. It's probably like 23 point, something. That's actually so. These ones that are the same value are actually ranked properly.
Okay.
If we go to enough significant figures.
Yes.
Yes. So just thought our viewers should know we didn't arbitrarily choose amongst those.
That's right.
We're just we're rounding to the nearest cent. So there you go. Ticket to Ride. Love Ticket to Ride.
I do too. Another game that we both love, and unless you made a mistake, it must not be on your list, because you said Cosmic was your most expensive at what number?
At number 9.
Well, sorry, the cost. What was the cost that you put into?
Yeah, 165.
Okay, well then
I think I know which one you're gonna mention.
Do I get to be the only stan of this game?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It disappointed our viewers.
So my number 7 is Agricola. Woo! Spent $195 on Agricola. Ryan,
yeah, I was gonna say it'd be looking a lot better if we hadn't done the recent buy the revised with the new expansion and all the deck expansions. That definitely drove up.
Yeah, do you add into this old copies that we've bought and then sold?
I tried to kind of do like, if somebody would buy it,
right.
like
yeah. So wow, Ryan, you are not getting much value out of Agricola. I think that's the first thing we need to note here.
Well, my whole list is shifted to higher.
No, I'm shocked.
So what's it at?
Oh, it's at 37 cents.
See, my Agricola is at 31 cents, but missed the list at number 12.
Oh my gosh.
My list is just better, Daniel. That's all I'm trying to say.
Just objectively better. But yeah, So I played Agricola 78 times. We kind of got average player count is 3, and that's definitely pretty accurate. That's kind of where we usually fall. But man, talk about a game that has like the most potential to just continually
keep going up. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so
well, and it's a long game. Like, like this one of games on the list might be the most hours. Right.
Yeah.
Like that part of the equation might be the most. It just happens to also be expensive with not a really high player count.
Right. Yeah, it makes up, because that is my most expensive on my top 10. So there you go. How to do our everyone. Everyone is waiting for just how are we going to in some way weave Agricola into every single video.
Yeah, we actually sometimes prep videos, and if neither of our lists have Agricola, we just
scrap it.
We'll record the video and scrap it.
We find out, we're like, crap,
like,
none of us said Agricola.
Next time you make sure you put it on there. Yeah,
there you go. That's my number 7.
My number 7 was kind of a surprise to me. I mean, it makes a lot of sense because it's a very cheap game that plays a lot of players. But I've only played it 15 times. So I was definitely expecting games that had higher player counts here.
Yeah.
This is a game that goes by several names. Originally, the version I had that I think our parents have now is Category 5. I now have the version called Take 5.
Oh, wow.
The German version is called Six Nimmt, which I know is also popular. And makes it in also at a 23 cents.
Look at that. That's a bit of a shocker. I mean,
it is. Yeah, it kind of surprised me. Here's the thing. It costs $12. So we're starting at a pretty nice. The average player count for me is like 7.
Yeah.
Because usually this is it goes up to 10. And usually if we have 6, 5 or something, there's just going to be other games that get picked as like a lighter.
Get tricky.
And so it gets picked a little bit more when we're kind of out of the range of those other games. And so that'll do it, right? Like it only takes a half hour to play. I've only played it 15 times, but if you're playing it with 7 people and you only had $12 to start with. Good.
You know, it'd be a good question is for our parents, which would be number one, this game or Time's Up? That's an interesting question because I know both of those games. They've played.
I've definitely got a lot of play with parents. This is a game that it's still in my collection. It doesn't get played much. I don't feel super drawn to get it to the table, but there's the occasional situation where it's like a little bit bigger group, maybe out of the reach of some of these other card games. Like Llama is one that goes to 6 that like I would think of in this situation.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, maybe we have 7 or 8. People just want a light card game, kind of laughing, talking.
Yeah.
And when it's that situation, or even maybe you have younger kids because they can just throw in a card in this game and like it'll work. That's why it stays in my collection. So
very nice.
It's seen some plays.
There's I think a real benefit to certain games that like a pro is the fact that you can kind of just be like talking about other stuff and while you're playing, versus having to be locked in. And I feel like that's one of those. Yeah. So nice. We're to my number 6 now, is another cheap game, a cheap party game, and yet one that we both love. It's one of our highest rated party games. You can check out all of our party games videos. There you go, Ryan. A little YouTube linking there. You like that?
Yeah, look at us. We know how to do this.
I'll probably forget to link it anyway. Actually, that's your job. Never mind.
Yeah, it's actually.
And this one, it's cheap. Played it quite a few times. We always play it with at least 6 people, I think. This is gonna go to Decrypto. Coming in at 34 cents for the cost per player per hour. And really, we don't play this one like a ton. Like I only have 13 plays of it. But again, starting off, it's just cheap, $20. It's a high play count. And it's not the shortest party game. Like it does, like if especially if you, it could be, I guess.
Yeah. See, we're used to playing with a pretty good group, which can keep the game
true,
going.
Actually, yeah, it could be very short.
Be a really short game.
Yeah, this one has a lot of variability on how the length of it, but one that we just absolutely love, and I would say of party games, like delivers maybe the greatest like peak. One of the greatest peaks of just like when you are in those late rounds and you're just, the teams are just going back and forth and you really feel a sense of, there's lots of party games where you're on a team, but I don't know, this one, you are really working with your team and you are proud of your teammate when they come up and you're like, yes, that was so good.
It's a really good team dynamic. And there's just the interesting dynamic of you're trying to give clues. There's so many party games that you try to give clues, but this is one where you're like trying to give clues good enough your team can get it, but not good enough.
I know, it's so
it's a really nice balance.
Well, there you go, Ryan. Number 6.
Cool. My number 6 is a game that is powered onto this list by it really catching popularity for a stretch with my wife's family. We played it a ton. It's actually a game that I have bought 2 copies of because you can just extend the number of players if you have multiple copies. And this is Super Mega Lucky Box. And so with my 2 copies, I can go up to 12 players. It's kind of a simple flip and right, kind of roll and right style game where you're flipping these numbers. It's like, I always advertise it as advanced bingo because you flip a 5 and everybody gets to pick 1 5 on one of their cards to cross off. And as you finish rows and columns, you get bonuses and you can score points in different ways. And it's one that's just worked really well in that setting of kind of a group that wants it's not just a party game. It's got like a little bit more of the feeling of like little strategic decisions, but still very light and accessible for everybody. And so we've played this a lot of times with bigger groups. It still plays in closer to 45 minutes because you play 3 rounds. And so let's see, how many plays do I got here? 20 plays with an average of 6 people at 45 minutes, and it's not that expensive game to begin with. So that powered it up onto the list. It's definitely one for me that as I've gotten to 20 plays of it, I've personally felt less compelled to play it and like get it to the table, but it still just like sticks in the collection because it is so good for certain situations. And I still, have fun with it. I just, in a lot of ways, I feel like I've kind of explored the decision space in this one. I don't often, feel like I'm being surprised, but yeah, good little game. I definitely think if you're looking for like kind of a flip and right style game that's really accessible and can work with bigger groups, I think is a pretty good option.
That's right. My number 5 is I don't think anyone would look at this and on the surface think value. It is the largest box on my top 10 by quite a good margin. And yet there is, I mean, content-wise, there is plenty of value in there. You just got to pay for it. And this is going to go to Gloomhaven. So Gloomhaven coming in at 31 cents.
Look at that.
I know. Well, I played Gloomhaven 75 times. Like, that's, it was
and
so
it was
good.
all with 3 people, right?
3 people every single time, and it was just an absolute blast. And so it feels good when it's easy, especially I knowing myself, it's easy to get sucked into getting these big campaign style games and maybe sometimes to get out of it the value. So it feels good to be like, I paid, $140 for that, and I can walk away. I'm kind of at the end of at least Gloomhaven for now, and I can say, man, I got my value out of that. Like, that was an awesome experience. Played it a ton. It was totally worth it. Man, that is number 5. Yeah, that was one that I was like, saw that there, and it's like, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, it all kind of like depends on what you're comparing things to, because like, $140 or whatever sounds like a lot for like a board game, especially somebody that's not in the hobby is like $140 for a board game. But you start to comparing things like, if like 3 of you were to go see a movie in theaters, you're paying probably close to $50 for
totally.
3 people to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's for like, one movie and it's done. You literally got
like 75 movies,
150 plus hours of, experience.
Yeah.
So like it really, we're obviously biased, but big fans of board games being one of the best.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys knew, we like board games.
We try to hide it a little bit. But sometimes it comes through.
No, I tell you what, I'm a value-driven guy. That's why I love this video, though clearly not as much as Ryan, apparently.
Yeah, no, maybe we should follow this up with our worst on this metric.
Oh my gosh,
that would not be a bad
I'm not
video,
even sure. That would be.
So comment below if you want to. The problem is we'd have to like set some threshold because it's going to be like games we just got, right?
Yeah,
that,
like a minimum play count or something.
Yeah, maybe like
that.
a minimum play count or something,
or minimum hours.
Or minimum maybe time in the collection. So if you got it a year ago and you haven't gotten around to playing it, that's your fault.
Oh my gosh. That
would be a good video. Comment below if you think that would be an interesting video.
Or if you think it was a terrible video.
Yeah, if you really like, if you're going to unsubscribe, if we post that video.
At least tell us first.
It'd be good to know that before we commit.
Yes. Okay.
Cool. My number 5 is one that I actually mentioned a little earlier as being a game that kind of comes to mind as another lighter card game that plays with kind of a bigger group. Very cheap, and that helps it onto this list. This is Llama. Get Llama for $10, and I've played it 31 times.
Oh, jeez.
And oftentimes, like my average player count is like 5. It can go up to 6. And Llama, I can understand why some people like it's just not going to be enough there for them.
Yeah.
But this one has kind of been a hit in my collection for what I want it to be.
Yeah.
Like the simple addition of kind of this push your luck element into this shedding card game of do I stay in the round, and the way the scoring works with like, if I have 3 6s, it's only 6 points against me. It's not 18. And so that really makes decisions of like, I'm down to a 2. I'm so close to going out, and you want to go out because you can get rid of points. But if I draw another one and don't go out, like I could go from 2 points to 8 points to, even more points. So I actually just played this one recently. There's just a lot of situations with a casual group at the end of a night or something. This one ends up kind of being our go-to, and one that I feel maybe I find myself still enjoying maybe more than other ones in this genre. And maybe it's just because like a more push your luck element and kind of the exciting moments feels a little bit more replayable in a light game, because the decision space maybe isn't as compelling enough to like really, but if it's more push your luck, there's still that excitement factor.
But I think also with it, like ton of it's luck, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think for us, that small amount of decision space is interesting enough because
it's a fun decision to make.
Like I agree. The whole just like, like do I keep drawing and try to go out? I love the whole you get to remove a chip, and so if you have that's especially really helpful if you're trying to catch up. Maybe in last place because you oftentimes have those 10 chips, and if you can,
well, we've seen it happen.
Yeah.
We've seen somebody that almost is to 40, which is what ends the game, and that person loses, like come all the way back because they win a few.
So it's got
a
a great catch-up mechanism. I think just those things have made it work in both of our collections.
Some exciting moments.
Nice. My number 4. This one just is one that I feel like totally makes sense why it's on the list. It's cheap, $25. High. Player count, I think we average 6. I think it can go up to 7. Another staple in card drafting. This goes to Sushi Go Party. Coming in at
can actually go to 8
8 players. Wow. I actually haven't played this one in quite some time. It's a little tricky again because it's a game that you primarily are going to introduce to probably people who maybe haven't played a lot of board games before and whatnot. And it's also a high player count, so you need a lot of people who haven't played a lot of stuff before. So sometimes a little tricky to get to the table, but both of us own this. We originally had Sushi Go and really enjoyed that, but man, the Sushi Go Party is just that's what you need to get. It's the one, it adds just tons of variety.
What is it? Variability. Yeah, that's what we love.
Yeah, and even just the scoring track and all that's really nice, and how it presents it all. That one is another one that I would say you don't need a ridiculous amount of plays to get for it to be considered good value. That's just one you should check out.
This is one of the first ones I thought of. Yeah, when making this list, just ones that came to mind in my collection.
So that was my numero cuatro. Wow. I've been working on my Spanish, Ryan, as you can tell.
Nice. Yep. Grinding for the channel.
Yeah.
Number 4 is a party game from a designer that has made a wide variety of games, heavy, big games, a lot of very creative games. And this is the party game that like really hit it big for him, and we haven't seen him since. And this is Codename.
Is he okay?
Codenames. No, I think he's living pretty comfortably with what.
Okay.
What, that's my assumption.
He's still alive.
I'd feel kind of bad if people were like, actually, like Vlada.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And now, I'm gonna feel even worse now that I'm further joking about that thing happening. So hopefully that's
we're
not the
naive.
Case. We're not. We love Vlada's games. I mean, he did Mage Knight. He did Through the Ages.
Oh, man.
I mean, these are some heavy hitting big ones we love.
Yeah.
But Codenames, I probably still enjoy this one a little bit more than you do. I know the main complaint a lot of people have with it is the downtime of, people thinking for clues, which can definitely range depending on who's giving the clues and how long it takes them to think. Yeah, it helps with this list. Yeah, it really drives out that playtime. But I've also find like I'll have good experience with Codenames are like, you kind of just having that casual hanging around chatting while you're waiting. So like, it isn't that big of an issue. But we played this one a ton when it first came out. I'm at 51 plays of this. I didn't realize how like that's a lot of plays of Codenames.
That is.
And so take a $20 game that takes about a half hour to play and plays with an average of 5 people 51 times. That'll drive it all the way down to a 16 cents.
Oh, that's so lean.
Per hour per player. Yes, that isn't good value. I don't know what it is. Maybe the 3 games that are ahead of it. But yeah, I Codenames. It's still one I recommend definitely to the right type of person. I think like if you like trying to associate words together, like coming with a common word to link things, but then also while avoiding other words, like Codenames just does it in such an elegant way. And I still really enjoy playing it.
Very nice. My number 3 has already been mentioned by Ryan. It's one that, and Brian, you better be cautious here. I'm catching up on your value.
Catching up on the value?
I'm getting close. Man. Coming in at 18 cents. This is one that I've played a ton, absolute classic, and will continue to play a ton. 124 plays. Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride.
Yeah. Well, and I think I'm helped a little bit, Ryan, that I've spent less on it than you. So because we just have the USA and the 1910 expansion. I think is I don't think we have any other.
Because our sister currently actually has our original Ticket to Ride Europe, the India expansion. Those are the ones we had way back, and that's where it got a little weird, like kind of calculating cost for this. But
yeah, I'll probably just go steal those. But no. And
I'm closer.
I would have to make more of a venture to do that. Yeah. Can you steal them for me? Yeah. So this one is actually, we were saying this earlier about Agricola. This one also is just one that's going to continue to climb up in value, and one that I think, again, every person who is getting into modern board games should check out, because it works so well for such a wide range of people. It's a great, just easy to learn but compelling. It's visually interesting. There's a reason it's such a classic, and there's a reason that we still enjoy it. And I think that honestly, it's the biggest testament to it. We've played it 100+ times, and we still really enjoy it. So
we have a review for it. If you want to really hear why we still enjoy it, we go in depth.
I'm pointing right at it, aren't I?
Right at it. Maybe I forget how our screens are.
No idea.
Arranged. I guess that
was probably right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Thank you.
I can't move the card. YouTube doesn't want to do that.
I'll move my video right.
We can fix that in post. Oh man. As you were talking about that, I was just, as we're getting down to these 15 cents, I'm having this image in my head of inviting people over for games and asking them to pay.
We should charge.
Here, can I have
this is the cost?
I have a dime and a nickel? Because this is what I paid.
Oh my
for
gosh,
us to have this experience.
That is a great idea.
Yeah. So if you game with us in person, you have this to look forward to. My number 3 has been mentioned recently. It makes sense that it would show up on both of our lists. This is Sushi Go Party. I imagine I've played this more than you. I'm at 64 plays.
Oh yeah, that's literally double.
Wow. So I'm down to a 13 cents
Holy cow.
per cost on that one. There's another one that there was a long stretch in my wife's family that this was kind of like the favorite go-to game in that group, and we would usually play with quite a few players. Yeah, I don't think I have much to add other than it is definitely the type of game that is well primed to be good value. I mean, if I was recommending to someone, we actually did a video on this of games to start a collection or something. This is definitely a game that I would consider because it plays well anywhere really from 3 to 8 players, is pretty accessible and has kind of a lot of variety.
Yeah.
So good value game.
For sure. Here we go, Ryan. Number 2. This one, I guess I forgot how cheap it was. Only $20.
Yeah.
And so that really helps. And Ryan and I think would both say that this is one of, if not the definitive party game in our hearts and minds. And this is going to go to Time's Up Title Recall, coming in at 10 cents per player per hour. Cost per player per hour. And play this one 35 times. Wish that number was even more. Because, not everyone's going to like this game. And we've seen that with, I think your wife doesn't like this, right? And
yeah, though it's been a really long time since I think she's come out of her shell a little more since she last tried to.
Because it definitely you gotta be cool with some pressure. You gotta be cool with. I mean, you're putting pairs and you're on a timer and you're getting doing a card and
you can't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, gotta be okay with looking a little ridiculous.
People are watching you try to do.
You start to talk about this more and you realize this is some people's greatest fear in life.
It
all
is. My wife. That was my wife.
But for the right people, this game is hilarious. And it's hilarious because of how clever the just flow and mechanics of the game are, in that you do 3 rounds, and each round you're using the same deck. So you're getting more and more familiar with the deck as a group, but your communication's getting more and more limited. And the beautiful part about that is because your communication's getting limited, you start referencing funny things maybe that have happened earlier as your clue. And oh my gosh, just the amount of times either someone maybe in the first round someone like is, you know, describing something and maybe even like messes up or does something that's like really silly that isn't even a good clue for that thing just on its own, suddenly is the clue that everyone's pointing to for future rounds. So it's got kind of that element of building. And oh my gosh, we have just had so much fun with it, and it's also, I mean, like it takes skill, it's competitive. I'm historically I'm good at the clue giving. Horrible at clue guessing. Oh my gosh. Don't even.
Daniel's like, we got to make like twice as many cards when I'm giving clues.
We might as well
because
just
that's
pass,
the only way.
man. I can't remember a thing. So, but 10 cents, Ryan. Let's see how that compares with you.
Well, you'll be shocked to hear that my number 2 is Time's Up Title Recall.
I think we're doubling
almost
that finish
the same
here.
amount, and mine is also 10 cents. I think we're like almost at exactly the same, number of plays for this.
Caught it.
Yes, we're both at 10 cents. We'll see for number 1. But I agree with everything you said. Obviously, a party game like this, it's honestly a longer party game. It usually takes closer to an hour to play through
it does.
all the rounds. Yep. But yeah, for us, it really strikes that balance of there's a spectrum of party games. There's kind of like these two factors of how much does it make us laugh and how like interesting competitive is it. And there's some that, like, we talked about Decrypto, less on the laughing, it's still got some, but it's very interesting on that side. Time's Up is such a good marriage of the two.
It's true,
like, because you can really play competitively, trying as hard as you can to score the most cards, and like there is skillful play to do well in it. But man, does it get us laughing, much like some of these games that more lean into just being funny.
Right.
So there's not a lot of games I think I've played that do it as well, kind of combining those two things in a party game. And great value, the game's like a deck of cards, basically. So it's, pretty cheap.
Well, speaking of cheap and being just a deck of cards, I think I'll just guess that this is going to be a shared number 1 here.
We'll see.
This truly is the greatest value there is, because man, it literally is a deck of cards, like outside of 4 special cards, and it delivers you have to play 4 players. But it's a long game, like it's not, this isn't a quick little thing. It's a longer game, and it is just unbelievable to me how rewarding of an experience this just little thing can deliver. Coming in at 7 cents, it probably is going to be even lower for Ryan. This is Tichu. Oh, Ryan.
Not to mention the like $10 set we got comes with
it comes with 2 decks. Yeah, did you divide this? Should be divided by 2, because you can pass that deck off to someone.
Sell it off and be $5.
I know, that is really funny that they do that. I guess you are using the cards a lot, so it's good to
they get
good to have a backup. But oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember how long ago we got this, Ryan. I mean, this was a long time ago, but I know at first, like, there was nothing about it that really was like when you first heard that we got it or that you purchased it, that was like, oh, this is gonna be this amazing game. But this is just unbelievable. It is so much fun. You're in part 2v2, trick taking with this. You can't really communicate, but you're trying to work with your partner. There's so much like mind games, reading things. There's the greatest just tension of it with your hand. How are you going to play your hand? Because you can't just beat everything every time. If you do that, you're gonna end up being stuck with really low cards and not be able to go out. And so it's like figuring out, like, do I go? Do I not? Is my partner going for, are they in better position? Maybe I can try to set them up a little bit better. Then you add calling Tichu, like that just suddenly when someone calls Tichu, it just shifts everything. It's like, okay, now my goal is to block this person, right?
Or if you're their partner, my goal, I need to help them, even if it means sacrificing.
Oh yeah, there's times where I will throw my hand into the dumpster just to try to block, the person who called Tichu, so that maybe my partner can go out first. so many awesome dynamics, and we've played it. I've played it 34 times. It's a hard game sometimes to get to the table because you need 4 people exactly. And you need 4 people who kind of know the game. It's sometimes a little bit harder to teach, despite being such a small game.
It's a game I think you have to play several times before you kind of get into that. Okay, now we're really playing.
But it's one of those games that once you've got your group, you'll just keep playing it. It does not lose its enjoyment as you play it over time. So my number 1 is Tichu, Ryan.
Yeah, well, seeing as I've played Tichu over 3 times as many times as you have, because I'm sitting at 107 plays.
My gosh.
Of Tichu, it is a runaway for my number 1. Time's Up was at 10 cents. Tichu is 2 cents.
You got to charge them, Ryan.
2 cents.
Give us your 2 pennies
per hour per player.
That's so good.
Yeah, that's 8 cents for the whole group to play. I can play a game. Look at that. Yeah, and it's a game. I actually just looked back while you were talking. We got it in 2011. You
weren't listening to me?
Beginning of 2011. I was also listening. Okay. Very, but also looking out to see. I was curious. I was
he minimizes probably the screen when Daniel's talking. Yeah.
So that's pretty early on. I mean, that's 13. That's almost 14 years ago at this point. And Tichu has seen play over that whole stretch. There's, for me, a specific stretch. Ironically, it's very similar to that Cosmic Encounter stretch.
It was like those 2 games.
This college friends stretch where that was one of the ones that we played a lot. And yeah, I mean, you can't ask for much better value than $10 to get 2 decks. And then it's not because some of the other games on this are party games, bigger group games that it's like, oh yeah, it's not a game that I'm as drawn to playing over and over again, but it fits a certain situation. Tichu's one of my favorite games. I'm the one that's we need to get Tichu to the table. I want to play Tichu. And the fact that it's always with 4 players. So it's hard these days for me to get it to the table. I don't often have the people in my life that have played Tichu all in the same place at the same time. But yeah, it is far away, and I guess for both of us, the best value that, at least by our defined metric, that we have in a board game.
As we mentioned earlier, we've got links to every single one of these games down below, and if you aren't looking there, do you even care about good value? My goodness. So go check them out. And as you can tell, Tichu is one of our absolute favorites, and it's a steal. And if you want to hear our review where we talk about more of Tichu, you can click right there, and we will see you in the next one.